Wow, XRP's pumping. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, check it out. Today is Tuesday, March 10th, 2026. What news we have. Stock market craters and then rallies back. Oh my goodness. Just a quick video today. I go over the geopolitics and then socioeconomics. Stocks again are pressured by higher bond yields and the Persian Gulf strikes. A lot of news, geopolitics, wars. My goodness, stocks are being pressured today by fresh disruptions in Persian Gulf that raised doubts about President Trump's comment yesterday evening that the Iran war could end very soon. I don't know, it feels like a buildup. In addition, the Pentagon said the U.S. military today is conducting its most intensive day of bombings yet. Stocks are also being undercut by today's 1.7 BP rise in the 10-year yield on the 10-year. We've got to watch that yield on the 10-year, folks. The Iranian drone attack today caused the biggest refinery in the UAE, the Roswa industrial complex, sorry for the pronunciation, to halt operations due to fire in the complex. Also, Iran's semi-official Mehr news agency reported an explosion today involving a tanker near Abu Dhabi, but no further details are available. So World War III is here. April WTI futures fell down 7%. So oil spiked Monday to about $120 a barrel. 30 Iranian fuel depots were bombed. Unreal. WTI. So, G7, a lot of energy ministers in the G7 are meeting today, in a few minutes here. And so what do we got there? Home sales are up a bit because of lower mortgage rates. Q4 earnings. Just a quick video. I go over geopolitics and socioeconomics, and then I formulate a trading plan for myself. Not a financial advisor. Read the risk disclaimer below, and please do me a favor, like and share. Let's get the word out about my channel, and please subscribe to my channel. Thanks. So, stock movers today: Meta, Tesla, and Microsoft are off. Oil stocks: Occidental Petroleum, Devon Energy, and ConocoPhillips. Hewlett Packard news: AT&T, and MicroStrategy is pumping. And of course, now we're waiting for Oracle. Oracle's earnings, I guess, at MOC, market on close. So that's what we have on bar chart. And my goodness, NVIDIA's active, Tesla, Micron Technologies, SanDisk is up 6%, Mr. Softy's active, and then Broadcom. The gold trade is back on. Gold up about 3% to 5,238. The VIX is dipping a bit, off 11%. Crude oil off 12%. The S&P 500 recovers and pumps. Now stocks, from this morning, they move higher as the price of oil plunges. So S&P minis now are up 26 points. The NASDAQ up 144. The Dow Future Mini up 248. The Dixie at 98.62. Crude oil off $11 at $84 a barrel. Gold again up 135. And silver bullion. Silver bullion's trading at about up $5.50 to close to $90 an ounce. So the silver trade is still on. Active stocks: NVIDIA, Tesla, Micron Technology, SanDisk, Mr. Softy, Broadcom, Palantir's off about 3%, Amazon, and Advanced Micro Devices. So that's what we have. And let's see, the stock of the day is RTX Corporation. New technical high, all-time high for RTX. What's going on with RTX? Leave comments below. So I just kind of read the geopolitics and socioeconomic news, and then I formulate a trading plan. So we got to go over this news here real quick. So I don't run commercials, but I recently penned an ebook on Amazon Kindle titled AI, Artificial Intelligence Social Psychology Course, the algorithmic lens, on human interaction. Traditional social psychology has long explored the rules of human connection, but in an era where our interactions are increasingly run by algorithms, a new question arises. How can we study the human mind through the digital data that we leave behind? So check out my ebook, AI Social Psychology Course. Tell me what you think. So enough from our sponsors there. I write my own ebooks and do my own research. So XRP, I bought the dippy dip. XRP, as I was talking, if you go back and look at my last several videos, I was backing the truck up in XRP. People were capitulating in it and saying it was no good, XRP Ripple. And I looked at it and it was 100% downtrend. I mean, Ethereum pumped and so did Bitcoin, but I started increasing my dollar cost average of XRP and increasing my pivot points in XRP purchases. And my lowest purchase in this cycle, I'll give you my price fills: 136.8, 142.1, 138.6, 136.2, and 1.33. And now it's trading up like 5%. Unreal. That 133 purchase on XRP is now trading at 1.444. A huge pump in XRP. So I do the opposite. Whenever something's in 100% downtrend, I use bar chart. Bar chart will rank the different assets, and whenever they're 100% downtrend and in the top 1 percentile of such, I do the opposite and I start increasing my purchases. But I don't go all in. I have precious metals and real estate and cars and collectibles and my ebooks that I own as assets, and then precious metals again, postage stamps, stamp collections, and baseball cards, Pokemon cards, you name it. So I have an allocation to all these different assets, and also fine art. Like this painting right here, you can see, that's an original oil painting that has an appraised value or insurance value about $10,000. So I own hundreds of oil paintings. So, trying to keep things relevant. And so my trading plan, let's look at Yahoo Finance real quick. Saudi Arabia Aramco CEO warns of catastrophic consequences for the oil market. I was off yesterday. You can hear my voice, I was hoarse because of all the pollen here in North Florida. So, my goodness. Catastrophic consequences for the oil market. CEO Emin Nasser painted the Iran war as the biggest crisis in the region's oil and gas industry that he's faced. Now, there's not a lot of demand, though, for oil because the economies are weak around the world, the industrial nations, but we got wars and rumors of wars. Stocks turn higher. Oil slides as Wall Street weighs war signals. Send in the B-52s and the B-1 bombers and hypersonic missiles in China and Russia, North Korea and the Crimea Peninsula. U.S. steps up Iran strikes as oil industry faces upheaval. So they're saying, the war is drawing to a close, but the Iran strikes are the strongest ever. So we shall see. NVIDIA, to provide chips, makes significant investment in OpenAI rival. So NVIDIA stock is pumping on that news. Ackman's Pershing Square files for IPO. Google to provide Pentagon with AI agents for unclassified work. AI is a 5-layer cake. This is what NVIDIA is saying. That's what we have. US home sales rise. Amazon looks to raise at least $37 billion through bonds, so they're going into debt. So BioNTech stock plunges 20% as the founding duo, they're jumping ship. So a lot of news. Gold rises with dollar weakness. Rhoda AI raises $450 million. Salesforce.com, CRM, they're also to raise up $25 billion to fund buybacks. So they're purchasing their shares, and the stock's off on that news. Oil tanker Armada heads to Red Sea as Saudi Arabia divert from the Straits of Hormuz. So I don't make the news up, I just kind of report on it. And so Bitcoin rebounds to 71,000. Well, I'll tell you, I was backing the truck up this last couple of weeks in Bitcoin and buying the dip. And so this last 2 weeks, I bought the dip on Bitcoin, some as low as, let's take a look here. I mean, I was buying Bitcoin, 65,000, 66,000 approximately, 67,000, and then it pumps. So huge trading profits here recently in Bitcoin, Ethereum. Ethereum's up nice too. Look at this. Ethereum there, man. I was buying Ethereum at 1937 to the USD, and it's now changing wallets at, as high this morning as 2088. So nice pump there in Ethereum. XRP though is my biggest winner. Everyone said it was no good. You don't want to own XRP Ripple. I did exactly opposite. Set the pivot points and let XRP come to me on the pivot because it was 100% downtrend, and now it's pivoting and going back up to 144, up from 133. So, man, I give thanks. I say this every day. I give thanks for my abundant supply now manifested. I have it now. So, incredible news here. People, I'm running about 12 minutes. Just going to do a short video. But, this is the news being reported on Yahoo Finance. The stocks that are active today, top gainers, top losers. Looking at this. A lot of stocks are tanking. So here's, and most active, NVIDIA, NIO, N-I-O, Inc., HIMS up another 4% today. American Airlines is active, and Intel's up 4%. A lot of news in the chip wars. Taiwan Semiconductor, and so these are real events that are happening, people. Where do we go from here? Make sure, read my ebook that I put a link in there, on AI, social studies, and sociology and everything. So U.S. stocks hold steadier, stock Dow Jones up 300 points. It was off a couple thousand points there. And then crude oil again off about 12, 13 points, or dollars rather. So I just kind of read the news for myself, and then I formulate a trading plan. It's opinion only. And then let's look at, I do my own research independently too, about the different topics that people are talking about that I cover. The stock market decline, major drops in U.S. stock prices. We were down 1,000 points a couple days ago, and 1,000 points, and energy crisis, huge energy crisis, bottlenecks, and there's a lot of fertilizer and liquid LNG that out of the Middle East, and it could cause a food crisis where there's runs on food, and so massive flashpoint in the oil market. 20 to 30% of the market. This is the worst oil crisis in 40 years. I remember pushing the big Buicks back in 1973. V8s got 8 miles to the gallon, and hyperinflation. The silver bullion trades on. Again, economic conditions will lead to, Weimar Republic type scenario here in the USA, or stagflation. So the oil market's been higher in price, but 2007 it went to $100, $120 a barrel or so, and then dipped and lost 90% of its value. And then in 2020, during the lockdowns, oil went worthless and went to negative $47 a barrel. So now, is oil going to go to $200-300 a barrel? Anything's possible. Conflict, geopolitical risks, conflict escalation, instability related to Iran, and also to China. China could make a move on Taiwan, now that this war thing with Taiwan semiconductors and the US government, issuing permits in a sense where the shipping of computer chips to China, international chaos. I mean, a lot of geopolitics and corruption, so we got to be careful with that. So the entire system is collapsing. I've got a vacuum cleaner behind me outside. The landscapers are here, so bank runs. You got to be aware of bank runs. I like owning lots of real assets, real estate, precious metals. Here, I'll show you this. I own thousands of these. The American Eagles. They could go to zero. Crude oil went worthless in 2020, I think it was. It went negative 47 a barrel. So is silver going to go to zero? It could. Anything's possible. And dramatic reversals too. We're seeing lots of volatility in the stock market, down 1,000 points one day and up 400, 600 points the next. Oil breached $120 a barrel. Huge volatility. Precious metals, extreme volatility. Conflict in Iran, which I'm covering. Military status, they're saying that the war is very complete. That's what the quote is, but yet they're having the biggest bombings ever in Iran. And huge burden economically. I'll have to speak up a little louder because of the landscapers, but spending about $1 billion a day in Iran. And of course, there's risk here in the US. We've got rising costs, fuel, paying at the pump. I paid just over $3 a gallon in fuel. And the national debt. This war could cause an extra $5 to $10 trillion in national debt. And so I'm working on being self-sufficient. I'm a prepper. I wasn't a prepper before, but I am now. So I'm too old. I'm too young to retire, but I'm too old to be hired, so I hired myself. So I got to do it right. So on this Bitcoin trade, I netted probably 18,000 points in profit in Bitcoin in the last 2 weeks or so. Same thing with ETH, huge profits there, and XRP. I work for myself, so it's got to be right. So get a little short of breath. So just reporting the news here. Everyone, I say this every day, I give thanks for my abundant supply now manifested. I have it now. So that's what I have for today, everyone. My trading plan, I'll DCA, take some profits on some Bitcoin here. Bitcoin pumped up about 4%. Took some nice profits out of it. And then ETH took some profits there too. Took some profits on XRP, sort of, but I'm still a buyer of XRP because its downtrend is 100%. So that's what I have for today, everyone. Check out the links below. Have an awesome, wonderful day, and think, how do you survive? I provide solutions to myself. I do my own research for me, and I give myself financial advice, and then I take my own financial advice. But also a lot of it now is prepping, topping off my hurricane supplies, water security, food, housing cost and shelter, and new clothes and transportation, and getting my transportation in order. So that's what I have for today, everyone. Running about 20 minutes. Have a super wonderful day. Thanks, everyone. Here's my new Bentley hat. Check it out. Bentley. Thanks, everyone.